He has said that he wants all the credible files related to Epstein to be released. He's asked the Attorney General to request the grand jury files of the court. All of that is in process right now. My belief is we need the administration to have the space to do what it is doing, and if further congressional action is necessary or appropriate, then we'll look at that. But I don't think we're at that point right now because we agree with the president.
So no vote on this resolution before?
No.
This is the White House Director of Legislative Affairs. I'm just kidding. That was the Speaker. Tim Miller, this is an issue that should be easy for them, like even easier than tariffs, which their voters don't want, even easier than, it should all be pretty easy because their voters do not want cuts to Medicaid, but their voters are ravenous for the Epstein files and they can't even vote to release them. What is this?
It's a pickle for Mike Johnson. I know you think it's an easy one, but here's the problem. Yeah, sure, it's an easy one with the base voters. It's easy to know what they want in the grand scheme of things, but he can't get on the wrong side of Donald Trump. I mean, there's a graveyard of past Republican speakers who got on the wrong side of Donald Trump on various issues. And so I think that is his first and foremost priority. I think that Mike Johnson is almost certainly not, I guess who knows, but there's good reason he would not be read in on whatever it was that was behind the decision for Donald Trump or Pam Bondi to not release these additional files. And so if you're Mike Johnson, it's like, I guess let's try to kick the can down the road. But it's a bigger problem than those other issues you mentioned, right? Because tariffs and Medicaid cuts do not inspire the passions of the base or the passions of the MAGA media like this does. And just for us coming on, the Theo Von, one of those Manosphere podcasters who interviewed J.D. Vance twice, I think, and Trump once, he was posting. He's from Louisiana, like Mike Johnson. He's posting at his fellow Louisiana, Mike Johnson. He's like, bring this to the floor. Ro Khanna, it's a bipartisan bill. Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, why won't you bring this to the floor? You're in a bad way, if you're Mike Johnson and you have these huge podcasters with massive megaphones like calling you out, saying, bring this to the floor, and you're now put in this position where you have to be the one standing in the way of more information about these child sex crimes. It's a really bad position for him to be in.
Well, and Tim Miller wasn't, I don't feel bad for him that he's in a pickle, but wasn't he in a different position on this like 72 hours ago? Didn't he have a different position on one of those Manosphere podcasts a week ago?
He did. I also don't feel bad for him being in a pickle. I'm just describing like what he's stuck between Trump and the base, right? And the MAGA media, right? That's where he is. Usually they're aligned on all of that because Trump usually gets in line with where the base is or brings the base along. This is a rare issue where they've not been able to do that. So yeah, no, he has totally flipped on this. I thought that was interesting the other day. That actually piqued my interest more than this, right? This idea that he was going to buck Trump to push this through. Yeah. So I'm not surprised that he's now gotten in line. But, there's at some level, if you're Mike Johnson, it's kind of like, why not bring this up and kind of dump this on the executive branch? This is your issue to deal with anyway. You guys could decide what to release. But I think in the meantime, he's decided that his prime objective is staying in Trump's good graces.
Let me read from the other piece of reporting in the New York Times this morning. This is inside the long friendship between Trump and Epstein. Quote, in the early 90s, when Trump hosted a party at Mar-a-Lago for young women in a so-called calendar girl competition, Mr. Epstein was the only other guest, according to George Hornery, a Florida-based businessman who arranged the event. He recalled being surprised that Mr. Epstein was the only other person on the guest list. Quote, I said, Donald, this is supposed to be a party with VIPs. Mr. Hornery told the New York Times in 2019, you're telling me it's you and Epstein? His then girlfriend and business partner, Jill Hart, later accused Trump of sexual misconduct on the night of the party. In a lawsuit, she said that Trump took her into a bedroom and forcibly kissed and fondled her and restrained her from leaving. She also said that a 22-year-old contestant told her that Trump later that night crawled into her bed uninvited. Ms. Harth dropped her suit in 97 after a related case filed by her boyfriend was settled by Trump, who has denied her allegations. Mike Schmidt, this is one of the oldest fact patterns of the nearly 24 accusations of sexual misconduct against Donald Trump. I think the only one that's been adjudicated may be E. Jean Carroll, and Donald Trump was found liable for sexual abuse and defamation in that case. But just talk about this part of the story reemerging because of the base's appetite for all these names and the presence, as you've reported, of Donald Trump in the FBI files?
Well, to me, what this situation that Trump finds himself in, the sort of the inability to control the base on being, believing a conspiracy theory, it comes back to the beginning of the Trump story for me. So for me, the Trump story starts in Benghazi in 2012. And in the aftermath of that attack, the far right wing media and folks on Fox News stoked the base in conspiracy theories about what happened in Benghazi. That there was some sort of Obama cover up, that there was something that the government had done, our own government had done maliciously or incorrectly, that was more than just the fact that our outposts at Benghazi had been attacked. The fervor about that was so great that eventually Congress had to appoint a special committee to investigate that attack. And in as part of that investigation, when that investigation soaked up a lot of things, they were able to learn about Hillary Clinton's email server and at least a disclosure about Hillary Clinton's email server. What I'm trying to say about this is that these types of conspiracy theories, when they dip the base in the lighter fluid of conspiracy theories, and the base is ravenous to try and prove what they have been told to be true, it can just have a mind of its own, and it can have an energy of its own, and it can continue on in ways that are unintended. Now, because, for example, when they started doing that on Benghazi, they didn't think they were going to find Hillary Clinton's email server. In that sense, it really helped them. And in many senses, stoking conspiracy theories has helped them. It helped coalesce people around them to vote for Donald Trump, in 2024. But you can't necessarily control them. And I think that's what we're seeing here, is that Trump is basically, in his administration, to use the word you guys were using, is in this pickle where they're trying to satisfy a base that has been told time and time again something exists that's really horrific that they want to totally get to the bottom of, and that they have joined this movement to get to the bottom of, and that Donald Trump is supposed to be the leader to hold these people accountable. And that has a mind of its own.